Well, welcome to the Rad Potential YouTube channel where we do shop burnouts and break stuff. Not entirely sure what happened, but while I was recentering the truck, the rear end made a little funky noise. And if you guys know how limited slips behave, when you turn it, they both turn the same direction. Notice they're both turning the same direction, and this isn't a limited slip. So it still drives back and forth. Obviously you saw the burnout and it still drove out of the burnout. I am curious as to what happened. Maybe I chipped something. I don't know. We're going to try to free this up because it should spin opposite directions when you have an open diff like this. So let's see what happened here. Let's try to free this up. Alrighty, y'all. So this is a little focus now rear end tutorial for you. So on drum brake rear end and some discs, they've got retainer screws that hold the drum or the disc on to the axle. Normally they're seized on, so you want to get you one of these jobbies. Harbor Freight, $4. This is what's called an impact screwdriver. So I'm gonna set it down here, show you how this works. So basically, this end you hit with a hammer. This end, see how as it twists, that twist, it goes up. Okay, so when you put this on and you hold it tight and don't let this spin, and you hit it down with a hammer, it'll spin the end of this, and then it'll pop the screws out when they're stuck. So this might be a little hard to see, but we're gonna put you up here, about like that. Basically, take it, stick it in the screw, grab your hammer, boom, and look at that. Popped right out. Next one, make sure it's set. Grab it, hold it nice and tight. Sometimes they don't like to go. There we go. Alright. And boom diggity, you can see both of those came out. Now, when you look at these screws, I mean, you can see they've been taken in and out a bunch of times. They're all crusty. This thing right here is the ticket. You gotta get one. Harbor Freight, $4.99, impact screwdriver. It'll save you. Comes with a bunch of different ends too. But I got a plan now. I just trimmed this up a little bit ago while I was mulling over me breaking my truck because it runs and it's like good, and why did I do a burnout for no apparent reason, but whatever, who cares. We smoked the tires, we had fun. It broke. So because I think it's probably a broken spider gear or something in the center, and I sent a message to Charles and he said that he broke a spider gear in his truck once. So if it is a broken spider gear, I did check I have enough gear oil to put it back together, and this isn't a limited slip, so we should be okay. Sorry, gotta break the drum loose. See if we can't get this thing off here. It's a little crusty. Anyway, so if it's a broken spider gear, I'm gonna weld the diff. Because the spider gears don't matter when you weld it, you just have to be able to weld that whole, well they do, but you have to be able to weld that whole section together so it spins as one unit. And then regardless, Charles will be out here this weekend and we can pop a new chunk in it. So he doesn't like to have the real high gears, and I like the high gears. So this is a 462 rear axle ratio. He's got a 411 I think in his truck from a Courier, and then a 410 posi in the blue truck. So there's an abundance of 462s laying around, so I'll weld the next 462 and put it in here. So let's get this apart real quick. Yeet! Alright, well, unfortunately I had to pull the brake lines off, slide the axle shafts out. No major big deal, but now I just gotta bleed my brakes, so this side's off as well. Both are slid out. Now, let's drop this chunk out of here and let's see how bad we broke it, or if we broke anything. But there's probably parts stuck inside of other parts. By the way, this thing's really heavy. It's easier if you have friends, but pretty much a one-man show out here at the Rad Ranch, so we gotta do it by ourselves. Any carnage just yet? Oh. Alright, both the axle shafts look okay. I don't feel anything in the bottom. Woo! We might be looking good for a weld job. Ugh. We're looking at a rear end here. Third member, as we talked about in the previous videos, I gotta find my actual flashlight because, you know, can't do nothing without lights. Alright, so here we go. This is not my first rodeo breaking one of these. Looking like the... Heck yeah. Alright, pinion gear looks perfect. Ring gear looks perfect. Why aren't you guys... Why aren't you guys spinning, huh? Alright, let me get a hammer. We're gonna poke the bear with a hammer. Really probably won't tear these up. Nope, that guy's stuck. Huh. I don't really see any major carnage in there. Let's flip it to the other side. I mean, it really just looks like we got it in a bind. It's stuck. This is officially a lock differential now. So I'm gonna hose this thing out with brake cleaner and see what I can find in it. And then we might just be welding these up. So basically what happens when you weld a diff. So inside of, let me just get out my spare diff and I'll show you. Because we got diffs laying around all over the place. Oh, this is heavy. Okay. So what do you see that's different between this one and this one? Notice this has spider gears and stuff on the inside. Right there, all of that. Notice this one has like clutch packs and things in there that make them spin together. So this diff is a limited slip. This is an open diff. In order for the axle and stuff to drive, you see that the pinion, which is the front thingy, drives that gear down there, which spins the ring gear, which then turns this housing, which then has the axle. Oh, axle sponge in it. Oh, okay, I just had it cocked sideways. The little thingy in the center of the pin. So, anyways, basically on this diff here, this one, the carrier spins the diff pin through the center, like drives it around this way, spins it, you know, like that. And you can see there's a gear on the top and a gear on the bottom. Now those can spin either way. So how an open diff works is whichever wheel has the least amount of traction is the one that's going to get driven. So that's why when you spin one tire, it spins the other the opposite. It's because there's another gear in between them. So in order to weld it, all you got to do is weld all the spider gears together. And some people like to lay a plate in here too and weld that up. But I think I'm just going to clean this up and I'm just going to pack that right there. I'm going to crank the welder to like full kill. I'm going to pack that right there, full weld. We're going to pack that right there, full weld. And pack that right there, full weld in there. And we're going to make sure we don't have anything broke. And then the rear end, if you've ever driven with a welded diff, it like, it like clatters when you go around corners and sharp stuff and whatever. So that's what we're going to do. I mean, or I could try to see what the heck's holding this thing up. Maybe I'm going to try to break it apart real quick and see if I can free it up. Destruction ensues. Here we go again, putting it back together, and we're welded. Whoop whoop. Looks like we're doing some two-wheel burnouts now. Not that we weren't before, but at least now we know we're good. We're not going to blow the rear end up on the highway. Might still happen. So, I got some silicone on the differential hole there and got it all cleaned up. Got this all cleaned up. And I am ready to insert the third member into the rear end. So, let's give her. Be good to go here in a second. Whoop-de-doo, guys. We are assembled. Both sides. Looking sick now. Got that side all buttoned up too. One thing that I neglected to do, but it shouldn't matter, is I didn't line the alignment bolts up on the drum. So the drum has those two Phillips screws I showed you earlier to get off with the impact screwdriver deeply whopper. And we got that off, but I put the drum on not the right way so they don't line up. And then that drum was a real pain to get off, so the wheel bolt's on. It's good. But Diff's welded. It's back together. I'm just happy that, well, one, honestly, that it bound up is good, because then when I welded it, it makes it stronger. But two, I'm happy that when I took it apart, nothing was like totally destroyed. I didn't have a broke axle. I didn't have anything crazy. So I had planned on welding the diff anyways, because this is going to be a drag truck. And yeah, that's about all you're going to know for now. But it's going to be a drag truck. So we'll test the limit of this rear axle. And I'm going to be happy to do two-wheel peels. But it's going to be a little sketchy in the rain now, because before you just light it off and it'd spin. Now if I'm going around the corner, we're going to be able to do some skids. So I just got to bleed the brakes. I'm going to throw this thing back on. Throw this thing back on the ground. Clean up the windows. I do think I'm going to try to clean the carburetor off a little bit. It's just a little filthy under here. And I got some, like, you know, crusties and stuff up in the corner. So I think I'm just going to clean this up a little bit out here. Bleed the brakes real quick. And then I'm ready to go to Cars and Coffee tomorrow. So we'll see you at the morning for Cars and Coffee. What's up? Good morning. It's pretty early, kind of, sort of. Running a little behind as usual. But it wouldn't be city life without running behind. No leaks. Pretty stoked on that. It is time to go to Cars and Coffee, Welded Diff. See how much racket this thing's gonna make turning. Everybody always asks how many rotors are in this thing. Well, we got 2 in the engine. I got 1 as a cup holder, and I got 3 in the back. Does that make it a 6 rotor? Maybe. Should make it a 6 rotor. There's 6 rotors in it. Oh, no power steering life. Oh, there, I can feel it in my butt. That's welded. Hopefully the road's a little wet. Be a fun little drive. Well, we're back at the house now. It was a good day. Last night we got the truck fixed, kind of an impromptu video I can put up, but we got the truck fixed. Drives good. Did some skids on the way to Cars and Coffee, and we're home. Gonna do some shooting. So, thanks for tuning in. And alright, y'all think we could just weld the diff in the rotary truck and not do a burnout, right?